Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the Silver Spoon podcast. I'm so excited about our topic today and our special guest because many of us know what it's like to transition into a new chapter of life where we have to shift priorities and embrace new realities. And what better person to talk about this than our very own Madi Bennett? She is a national board certified health and wellness coach and the founder of Grow Healthy, where she uses the lessons she's learned from her personal journey to help other women master their meals, movement, and mindset to aid them in feeling comfortable and confident in their bodies. I absolutely love that, Maddie. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, thank you. And I'm so happy to be here and to, talk with you because it's all so important and yeah, it's fun.
No, awesome. So tell us a little bit before we really dive into, some questions, because of course this is a finance podcast. So we are going to make the financial connection. But would just tell us a little bit about Grow Healthy. What are the origins of it? How did you start it? What was your inspiration?
Yes, and I am excited because I do see so much overlap. And so, yeah, I think it'll be great.
Yeah.
But Grow Healthy, my answer is twofold. So, first, I'll talk about the name Grow Healthy, and then I'll get into a little bit about the behind the scenes, I suppose. But the name, I don't know if you're watching this, but I love plants and I love growing things. I always have a garden. So that's a big passion of mine, a hobby. I like more houseplants than I know what to do with. So taking that passion of mine and combining it with the process of, nourishing something and taking care of it and watching it flourish is really what inspired me to call it Grow Healthy.
I love that.
Yeah. And I started Grow Healthy because I've been on this really long process of figuring out kind of what application I want to use my knowledge and my experience in. And Grow Healthy has been an opportunity for me to apply what I've learned and, bottle it all up and help people and to really help them in growing, because it is a process. It's not really about the destination. It's about kind of finding peace in it and really figuring out what works for you and what's going to help you again flourish. And I love that analogy with the plants and things. So that's kind of where I'm coming from.
Okay, I love that. I love that. And I didn't mention this at the beginning, but Maddie and I went to college together. She and I both went to Furman University, and you played soccer. Is that correct? Okay.
Yes,
So
I
was
have been
that,
a lifelong soccer player for sure.
yeah. So has that been a big part of your journey with Grow Healthy? Do you still get to play soccer today, or do you feel like you've moved on to some other hobbies?
Yes, um I do play soccer here and there. My relationship with soccer has changed, and there's a little bit of a story to that. I've always played very competitively, and that's kind of what, my upbringing, I was always very health centered. I was, you know, being active, and my family helped me eat decently well. And so as I kind of grew up, soccer became less of a part of my life, and I had to sort of figure out how am I going to keep staying active and how am I going to, find enjoyable movement.
Yeah.
And I don't have that team holding me accountable as much anymore. So, that kind of transition really shaped this process of me figuring out, okay, I need to learn how to do this for myself. And then I need to share this because I've learned so much and I want other people to be able to do that and to find this. But soccer in particular, yeah, I reached a huge dip because I tore my ACL actually playing adult league soccer. And
No.
so, yeah. But in
Wow.
that process, I learned a lot about myself and how important activity is, not just to look a certain way or to be, get exercise, but for my mental health as well. So
Mhm.
while it was not fun having such an injury, it did
Yeah.
teach me a lot, and it did help shape kind of who I am, and help me in on this journey of helping other people as well. So
Yeah.
I still play soccer a little bit. I obviously I've worked a lot on learning how to move my body and strengthening things so that I don't end up in the situation where I was before. So it's
Yeah.
taught me a number of lessons, I would say.
No, yeah, I totally get that. And it's interesting. I never thought about the transition that a person would go through, like moving from like being on a team to not. Because I didn't, well, it's funny. It used to always be a debate between me and my friends on whether or not dance is a sport. I believe it is an art and a
Yes.
sport. Because you
Yes.
still have to, you still have to train your body. There's still a lot of movement, a lot of sweat going on. Like you're definitely still having to be disciplined with the things that you're learning and executing. And I used to I danced my entire life in high school. I used to do competitive dancing, and then I did 2 years of being on the dance team that would perform at like the football games or the basketball
Mm-hmm.
games. And then after that, I like studied abroad, and so I like kind of fell off from being a part of dance. But I feel like, yeah, after that, I like hit a decline on like my motivation to stay active because I didn't have that accountability and that like outlet for already, doing that in like a fun way. So I definitely feel like I try to like do some dance classes every now and then. Around here in the area, there's some really awesome just like adult dance classes where it's like not really technique, but at least you're still getting the movement. So
Mm-hmm.
that's great that you still, find time to enjoy it, but you're, expanding your horizons. You do rock climbing, right?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
funny to, or I mean, not funny, but it's real to watch this transformation and to, you know, you take some judgment out of it. Just be like, okay, this is a new chapter. This is a new
Yeah.
relationship with this thing, and it doesn't always have to look a certain way. We can still enjoy it,
Yeah.
and it doesn't have to look like it maybe has in the past.
Exactly. No, that's 100%. That's 100% right. That's 100% right. So you're still active, you're still moving, but it just may look totally different. No, that's
Mm-hmm.
totally awesome. And I love like I know you mentioned this earlier, but I absolutely love like the analogy with the plants and flourishing. Like, of course, you see the plants behind you there, so definitely true to you, and I can tell that's really authentic to you. But I think that's an amazing like comparison because we truly do have to nourish ourselves sort of in the same way that plants have to nourish themselves and be able to grow and flourish and see the different possibilities for us. So that's really awesome, Maddie. That's great. Thank you for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
So I know we mentioned meals, movement, and mindset. So I have a strong feeling that that might be the 3M mastery. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? How did you come up with those three as like your main your key target focus points, I'd say, with coaching? And yeah, just tell us a little bit.
Yes, that is my baby. I'm so proud of it because it is, taking all that I've learned. I've been working at this for years personally and, through other people's transformations. So when it comes to, feeling good in your body, feeling like you're at a weight where you're comfortable and, you're moving regularly and you're not dreading it and you're eating what feels good for your body. Um, so through my process in helping people with all of this, I came to understand that those were the three key components that really are going to get you to where you want to be, that are going to, move the needle if that's what you're working on.
Yeah.
Um, so the 3M mastery, we've kind of touched on a lot of the important components.
Mhm.
Um, but really, I want to make sure that you're moving. I want to make sure that you're eating well because our energy output and caloric intake is really pivotal in meeting our goals and feeling good. And then so often overlooked, and I think something that might set me apart or be a little different from other people who are similar to me, is that mindset aspect. Because if we're not changing the way that we think about these sorts of things
Mhm.
and being kind to ourselves and having productive thoughts and really, processing through, why am I eating the things that I'm eating? Why am I dreading this exercise when I know I feel so good after I do it?
Mm.
Really unpacking all of that, that is what's going to help you with sustainable change. And that is totally the key here. When you're working with me, this isn't a quick fix. This isn't, you know, short term. I want you to leave my program with the tools to be able to continue on and to do this for a lifetime, because growing healthy is a process. It's not like you're not just going to wake up one day and be like, wow, I've grown healthy. I mean, you
Yeah,
might feel like
no, I
that, but
love
then,
that.
the stuff happens, life happens, and
Yeah.
it's all about, rolling with the punches and keeping moving forward. So that's the
Yeah.
program.
Wait, I love that. I love that. As a self-proclaimed, okay, not a gym rat. I don't like that term. But like as somebody who enjoys working out, I do still dread, like there's like specifically, like I have like a push and a pull day for like my strength training, and
Mm-hmm.
specifically pull days I always like dread going, and so I always push it off to like the end of the week, and we'll do every other exercise. And I've never thought about like, oh, okay, like yeah, there's like a mindset aspect behind like maybe why I don't want to show up for this particular exercise or what have you, and you have to work at it. So that's really awesome. So what types of things, and I guess this kind of leads into my second question or my third question of like, what is your favorite mindset tool, but what types of things do you like to use to help your clients and yourself sort of get over those mindset hurdles, sort of just one day at a time?
Yes. So to the question, what's my favorite thing and what do I think is most beneficial? And it's something that I practice in my own life. So, I mean, I encourage everyone to do it. But this tool can be applied in so many different areas of your life. But what I love is to first find a why. And I feel like this is, you hear this all the time, like, what's your reason? What's your why? But seriously, this is so pivotal. And the key here is that it needs to be emotionally charged. So I want you to, I love to say this, it's not like weight loss is not your goal. You're not working out to lose 20 pounds because that means nothing to you. Like, big whoop. And the other thing is, if you lose those 20 pounds and you're feeling like garbage at the end of it, did we really win? Okay,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
yeah. So I want you to really picture and like embody and think about the feelings and the emotions behind what your reason is. If it is weight related, like how are you going to feel? How is your life going to change? Why is that important? Who's going to be affected? So I need you to think about all those little details and give it
Mhm.
so much energy and power.
Yeah.
And then remind yourself about this. So the key here is, so many people will, maybe you've done this yourself, written all this down, you've made a vision board or something, and then you never look at it again. Like, I
Yeah.
know in my journal, I probably have dreamed business related to so many times, like, I'm gonna leave my job, I'm gonna go do this, this is so exciting, and then
Yeah.
I forget all about it. I never look at it again.
Facts. Yeah. No, same. I'm guilty of that. Guilty of that.
Yeah. So the second part of this tool is, once we have something that means a lot to us, we need to think about it multiple times a day. So leaving reminders for yourself. What I love to do is encourage myself to think about it first thing in the morning and last thing at night, and really reflect and like embody those emotions, feel what it is that you're working towards, because we really can't control our thoughts and our feelings throughout the entire day. However, if you think of it as like a meal, like we're going to have one hearty dose of mindfulness, of feeling these, what we're working towards, and really, just filling up with it, that's
Mm.
going to help carry us forward. And then, we're reflecting, we're getting in a habit of just thinking about these things. And then throughout the day, you might notice that you're feeling more energized or you're feeling more motivated. And so that's how we can kind of
Yeah.
let this tool carry us through our days and be applied.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I love that. Yeah, and you're like spot on with you definitely have to have the like the why because yeah, well, if you're not attached to it emotionally, you're not really going to care about it and it's going to be like that vision board that you never look at cuz yeah, that me too. Me too. I've done that. I didn't even create a vision board this year. I did like a different type of
Mm-hmm.
deal because I was like, you know, I as much as I love this, I feel like I need reminders in different ways cuz I this didn't resonate with me the way that I wanted. But no, that's totally right. Like that makes me think like I go to the gym not because I like enjoy going to the gym, but I enjoy
Mm-hmm.
it specifically because I want to take vacations. And when I want to take vacations, I want to look nice and I want to be able to wear what I want to wear. And so to travel and see the world and if I, you know, am hitting the gym, then maybe like the uphill walk in Lisbon won't be as terrible because I've been doing like the Stairmaster or something at
Mm-hmm.
home. So yeah, I love that. I think that's spot on. Like that's totally something that I resonate even with your finances. Like you have to have a why. You can't just follow what everybody else is doing or you know just think okay this is what sounds good because your rich life and what you know what you desire in life is totally different than the next person, so your goals should reflect
100%.
that.
I was just thinking like the same could go in either way. Like if you say you're working towards $1,000 or whatever your savings goal is, like that's the
Mhm.
same as like a weight goal. Like
Yeah,
okay, you can say any number, like cool.
yeah,
But really, I think the power comes from okay, what does that money buy you? What is the freedom that you're working for? What is the feeling you're gonna get when you're, you know, walking into a restaurant feeling like $1,000,000 in your dress, and
yeah.
you're able to afford that trip and the restaurant. So yes, so much
Exactly.
overlap.
Exactly. No. So that I feel like that perfectly segues us into I would say the second to final question that I have for you because I want to definitely you know give you an opportunity to tell us a little bit about how we can find you, what, you know, working with you is like and, you know, how we can sign up because I think I feel like I might need to actually after this conversation. Um definitely, but what's a mindset skill that you have found or think could be helpful in both your health and your wealth journey?
That's an awesome question. We keep touching on overlap, so I feel like even that previous piece could be applied. I mean, it could be applied in so
Yeah.
many things.
Yeah.
But what I could add to it is sometimes we have to hold ourselves accountable to a certain degree,
Mhm.
and in doing so, I think writing things down can be really valuable. So, I mean, if we think about logging our meals, that's not a tool that I think someone needs to or should rely on long term. However, if you're, in a rut, if you're not understanding fully why, you're not seeing the progress that you might like or, why you're in a certain situation, sometimes just writing it all down, taking a look at the facts can help add perspective.
Mhm.
And so, and the other application that I love for this one is tracking your habits throughout the day. So if you're
Yeah.
telling me that you don't have time to exercise, I want you to write down every minute of your day, and we're going to find a 5 minute gap where you can get the walk in. If you're saying that a walk is important to you and that you really want to be
Mhm.
um, be making that happen, then
Right.
okay, we're going to figure it out. And so writing it all down can give you a little bit of accountability, a little bit of awareness too,
Mhm.
to okay, what are we looking at? What are we dealing with?
Yeah.
And it can help you figure out where you need to tighten the reins. Um, but the thing that I want to mention about this, and I think this probably applies to finances as well, is we need to do this with an open mind and take some of the judgment out of it and take this negative connotation that it might have, like budgeting
Mhm.
or logging your meals.
Mhm.
Don't do it with the intent to scrutinize and beat yourself up.
Yeah.
Do it to help yourself grow, to help yourself understand. If you're telling me that it's so important for you to get to some destination, okay, then your actions are speaking otherwise, and either we need to adjust the goal or we need to adjust the actions, right?
Yeah. That's yeah. That's no, I love that. I love that so much. I actually this is like perfect because I think not next week, but at the end of this month, it's January as we're recording. But at the end of this month, I have a episode on financial shame and how like we can like yeah, really beat ourselves up
Why are
about
we so
these.
mean to
Yeah,
ourselves?
yeah, like we really are. We give so many like we give people like so much grace and we do not do that for ourselves. And I think that's 100% right because so I'm trying to be more intentional with like tracking my expenses and like journaling and like even it's very minimal in terms of my like fitness journal, but I at least am trying to like record the like the exercises that I do and like when I do weights like okay like let me see how I'm progressing in terms of, you know,
Mm-hmm.
being able to lift more weight and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I definitely like noticed like, yeah, it's like, oh, you're not celebrating like the little wins. Like, even though, yes, it's 5 pounds and that may not seem a lot, like it's more than, you know, you were able to do like a month ago and you're like not struggling through it. So you need to be able
Mm-hmm.
to like look back and like be like, okay, things may need to change, but there's also stuff that I'm doing well. So like celebrate that and pull that from that too, because you don't have to just like you know shame yourself the entire time because you're right, you don't have to look back and judge like
Yeah.
you're doing things well, like we're human, we make mistakes and like we got to adjust things, but we do things well sometimes, we get it right sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, we're so quick to discount the positives and hyper, like, blow up the negatives.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
just not fair.
Yeah, no, it really isn't. It really isn't. But that's an amazing tip because I think that's important. I think we do a lot of beating ourselves up when we don't do the things that we need to do to go to the gym or to eat well, and or we feel like we're not taking care of ourselves well, and that goes the same with our finances, and then they can turn into you know negative thought patterns and then habit patterns that sort
Hmm.
of put us in a place that we definitely don't want to be. So that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that because I think yes, like it's important. Like fitness and finance definitely intersect.
Yeah.
Definitely have a lot of overlap. So that's perfect. So really, the last thing I want to ask is Maddie, if we're looking to work with you, how do we do that and what does that look like? I know you've already kind of dropped a little like, you know, a bit about what that looks like in terms of, you know, your movement, your mindset, and your meals and things, but just tell us a little bit for those of us who are on have fitness goals this year that we really want to get done or may need to adjust because maybe they're not the right ones. How do we how do we work with you?
Yes, yes. I know it's like 'tis the season, and we're still in January, so a lot of times it's like fresh year, like let's hit it. And I think like run with that energy, and I'm excited to be feeling a lot of that myself in the people who I'm speaking with. So if that's you, definitely, there's no shame in in wanting to start the year off strong and really wanting to kick it. I know Kennedy, I listened to you were talking about 2024 goals, and I think we align a lot on on our feeling about the new year.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah, for sure.
but if you want to talk to me, I'm always open. I just want to say, like, I love just chatting with people. Sometimes people get afraid that I'm going to like try and sell you or something. Like, no, I'm a coach. I want to genuinely support you, and I just want to have those conversations and,
Yeah.
open the door and open your mind about kind of possibilities and things. So, even if you're just curious or you're just, not sure what you're doing is right or wrong, or maybe you're on a great track and that's all I have to tell you. Um, yeah, don't be afraid to approach me. I love these conversations, and I love hearing motivated people, and it all kind of fuels me. So, um, my kind of main platform would be Instagram. So if you want to kind of check out, my personality, if you want to
Yeah.
see sort of some of the things that I stand by, and then that I maybe preach or that I condone, you can get a pretty good idea through my social media on Instagram. I post also on Facebook, and I'm happy to friend whoever. So on Facebook, I'm Madi Bennett. On Instagram, it's Grow Healthy with Madi, or you can probably search Madi Bennett as well. And otherwise, I mean, I have my signature 3M Mastery program, and that's where I'm working one-on-one with people, really getting individualized goals. A lot of the fitness that I help people with is, it's individualized, and I like to encourage people to, utilize what they have and do home workouts, and then, work into our gym rat Kennedy, and I want to make sure you're moving well and you're feeling good and focusing on things like mobility and stuff, because if you're not feeling, good in your body, if you've got aches and pains, like, it's not going to help us. That's a piece of the puzzle there. And then, light nutrition as well. I like to support and guide people in making informed decisions that work for their bodies, that work for their goals, without telling you you need to eat X, Y, and Z or you fail, because it's not sustainable. Again, it all comes down to sustainability. So, and then we've talked so much about mindset, I'm not even going to touch on that. But that's the program. And I'm probably, by the time this episode comes out, I'm going to have some sort of like dip your toe in program where people can kind of get to know me a little bit better without going full bore into the 3M Mastery program. So perfect. That's an exciting yes. little plug there. But yeah, check me out on social media. Send me a message. I'm happy to chat. And yeah, I look forward to all the connections that I can make from this, because who needs money if you don't have the health to spend it where you want?
That's very true. That's very true. That is 100% true. No, I love that. I love that. On that note, Natty, I feel like that's the perfect note to go out on. Thank you so much for joining us on the Silver Spoon podcast today. It has truly been a pleasure. I hope you guys have taken some notes, taken some things away from this, because there's certainly some amazing things that you can apply today. So definitely do that. Check out Madi. I'm going to drop out all of her socials and whatnot in the show notes. So check that out. And we look forward to seeing y'all next week.
Thank you so much for having me, Kennedy. This has been fun.